Welcome to the basics, an attempt to simplify jargons, to understand the basics of sectors, trends, and even the investing style. With the help of experts, and these experts, have been, understanding the sector, are there in the sector for last 10, 15, 20 years. And we at Omkara, promise to make the conversation fun, educating, and pure dil se. I will. It's my privilege to have Rakesh, to help us understand the nuances, the basics of the steel sector. I'm sure everyone knows Rakesh for a long time. He's a mining engineer, with MBA and CFA. Worked with Abuja Cement, I think, for nearly 10 years, and with Macquarie for nearly 11 years. Now he runs his corporate advisory consultancy firm by the name of Go India Advisors. Rakesh, thank you so very much, for being part of the basics. Uh, as I said, we have to make it very dil se and very, 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 very simple. So whether it's Hindi, English, जो आपका मन करे, जैसे आपका मन करे, will be happy to learn from you. द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, ये स्टील में कोई पैसा तो बना नहीं है अभी, सारे इतने गर्म की हो गया कि स्टील 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 सेक्टर लेना है, 10 साल से कुछ हुआ नहीं है। अभी सेल डबल हो गया है, एवरीवन इज गंग हो नाउ कि स्टील स्टील लेना चाहिए।
So steel sector is a cyclical sector. So if you get the cycles right, you make a lot of money. So it's not a buy and hold sector because there's a demand supply cycle, and it's normally a 25-year cycle. So it's a long cycle. But within those 25 years, there are a lot of mini cycles in which stocks can go up 3x, 4x, and can come down back to the same level. So, understanding the cycle and what really drives this cycle is extremely important to benefit out of this sector. I don't think any other sector can give returns as fast as a commodity sector. And if you look at last 6 months, you'll be surprised. Metal sector is the highest gainer at
Yes.
around 61%
Yes, yes.
as of today. So clearly, this is one sector which investors can't ignore. It has to be part of their portfolio. But getting the cycle right is really important.
So before I jump to the basics, since you mentioned about cycles, and that is very, I really love that topic. With your experiences, help us to understand that what happened in the last cycle. When was the last cycle in India in terms of steel sector? Uh, you know, how do you corroborate the current cycle with the last cycle? I think that was in, oh, whatever. You are the guest here, तो आप हमें समझाइए, मैं चुप करके बैठूंगा.
Okay. So, see, for commodity market, the cycle during our times started in 2004, and this coincided with China starting to invest heavily into infrastructure. And whenever China started to aggressively grow, there were not enough resources in the world to feed that kind of growth. And so, as I was mentioning, there's a cycle within cycles. So there's a big cycle going on for commodities since 2004, and we kind of peaked in 2008 before the global financial crisis happened. And after that, there have been one or two peaks which have happened. So whenever there's a slowdown in global growth, China has actually come back in the last 2 decades to support global economy by starting to invest in infrastructure.
Mhm.
And infrastructure is very commodity heavy,
Mhm.
and that's why you see large cycles of commodity price increases in the last 20 years, all driven by China. And currently what we are seeing is same.
Mhm.
For the first time in its history in last 20 years, China has been importing steel.
Wow, seriously? Okay, this is
Yes.
an important statement, right?
Yeah.
For the first
So
time in last 20 years, China is importing steel.
is importing steel. And so that is what is really driving the current cycle. Now, once commodity prices reach to a certain level, and the economy is also growing at a reasonable level, China takes the foot off the pedal. So they
Okay.
stop spending on infrastructure, then commodity prices cool down, and the stock price also follow that commodity price trend.
Hmm.
And Historically, people have always, been doubtful whether China would come this time around or not to help the global economy. And it has never disappointed in last 20 years. Till how long can it continue is a big question. But still, I mean, there are a lot of indicators one can look at.
Hmm.
So most of the investors are familiar with, per capita consumption.
Hmm.
But when you are looking at a long-term cycle,
Hmm.
what really matters is cumulative per capita consumption. So basically, in last 50 years, how much of steel
Hmm.
per capita has been consumed by other nations like US or Japan,
Hmm.
and compare it with where is China
Hmm.
in that 50-year cycle.
Hmm.
And if you look at that, probably there's further scope for China to continue to grow.
Correct.
And so I feel that China would continue to be a survivor, a savior of the world economy for another, I think, a decade or so.
We all hope so. But
Yeah.
आपका एक बहुत interesting point था राकेश कि the cycle is normally for 25 years, and the last bull cycle in the commodity or steel space we saw between 2004 to 8, मतलब कि 4 साल a cycle within a cycle चला, right? और अभी तो हमें 6-7 महीने ही हुए हैं, right? So in your assessment or experience, आपको क्या लगता है कि जो cycle within a cycle होता है, is there a span of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, which comes to your mind कि बॉस अभी तो रैली बाकी है?
Yeah, so it's very difficult to, normally for other sectors, you look at price to earning
Hmm.
to determine, whether the sector is becoming expensive or not.
Hmm.
But since it's a cyclical sector,
Hmm.
profits can be like 2x, 3x of
Hmm.
what a normalized profit would be for a company.
Hmm.
So looking at PE doesn't really make sense.
Hmm.
So, and price to book actually comes to help you here.
Hmm.
So one should always look at price to book chart to understand where we are in terms of cycle.
Hmm.
So Indian companies have traded between 0.5 time price to book, which is kind of a bankruptcy level, to 2 times. That's the kind of broad range.
Hmm.
We are currently around 1.5, 1.6. So I would say there's still some scope to go. And when things go beyond control in terms of explosion in the
So
cycle,
2007-8 में the highest price to book say for Tata Steel or JSW or even SAIL was 2 times or even more, because I remember it went to 4-5 times also, right?
yeah. So what I was mentioning is that when there is an explosion of the cycle,
Hmm.
which is what is likely to happen now,
Hmm.
we can really go well beyond.
Hmm. Okay, someone is watching the interview and is very happy with your comments. ऐसा
So
जैसे अभी बहुत तेजी बाकी है.
yeah, so what I'm saying is that when there's explosion of the cycle, which is potentially possible here,
Hmm.
uh, they can go to 3x, 4x. There's no limit. But for investors, it's extremely important that they become cautious after a certain level of price to book.
So this is an important point. आप बोल रहे हो कि स्टील में अपने को प्राइस अर्निंग नहीं देखना है, प्राइस टू बुक देखना है, एंड इवन ईवी एबिटा इज नॉट अ राइट मल्टीपल.
No, because it's difficult to gauge, correct EBITDA level or earning level when the cycle is going through an explosion.
Okay.
See, today iron ore prices are $175,
Yeah.
and NMDC, which is our Indian iron ore company, is increasing prices 2 to 3 times a month. Now, what kind of price earnings can you calculate? Because prices are changing every few days, and so it's difficult to
Get into the a PAT or a EBITDA.
so many companies will look extremely cheap at the peak of the cycle. Because if you try to extrapolate that high commodity price into earnings, it will look that NMDC is trading at like 2x, 3x P. So it's a saying in the investors jargon that you always buy expensive
Yes.
and sell cheap
In a commodity space.
in a commodity space.
Yes.
But what is expensive, what is cheap? It's difficult to find out for retail investors.
Lovely.
So for them, it is easy to look at price to book because there it is, you buy cheap and sell expensive.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So two things which I learned from you is that for the first time in the last 20 years, China became a net importer. I think this is a big statement. Second is that if you have to value steel companies, please 2 price to book, and 0.5 is the bankruptcy level. I think I remember in March or something, Hindalco came at 0.3.
Yeah.
Even sale for many times or even 6 months was trading around 0.25 or 0.3 book value, right?
Yeah.
And if it goes to 2 times, you have to be a bit cautious in terms of how the cycle is, and you have to reassess your portfolio. But if the explosion comes, which Rakesh believes it can come, then 3 times, 4 times is also possible. Rakesh,
Yeah.
now we I think you also have a presentation. I think that's important. I think let's start with the presentation. I have you can share the presentation, uh, because we want to understand the basics. I think that's very important. A lot of people don't know what steel is, how steel is made. uh, can you share the
Yeah.
presentation?
Yeah. Just,
But I think some of the points are really interesting. The cycle within the cycle, 25-year cycle, 4-year cycle. I think these are important points, and we are still 7-8 months. So help us to, okay, let's get to the basics. Basics like steel. Steel कैसे बनता है? Like steel कैसे बनता है? What is this sector about?
okay. So there are two, main methods by which steel making is, performed. One is known as the blast furnace route, which is the very common route, and almost 80-90% of the production happens through that route, in which, you have iron ore and coking coal. Iron ore goes through a sinter plant because it's
Hmm.
normally iron ore comes in two forms. One is fines, which is, like powder, and the other is lumps. So lumps you can use directly, but fines you can't use directly into this blast furnace, because if you put fines, they will all settle down and block everything. So you need little bit of space between, the iron ore, and that's why you have to agglomerate it. You have to make little small balls of it in the sinter plant, and you need coal to reduce the iron ore. So iron ore is, Fe2O3. Basically, it has its oxide. So to
Okay.
make pure iron out of it, you need to take out that oxygen from it.
Hmm.
And to take that oxygen out, you need coal. So coal is nothing but carbon. So when carbon reacts with oxygen, it makes carbon dioxide
Hmm.
and leaves you pure iron.
Hmm.
So this process is iron making. There's another way in which you can make it, which is, if you are using scrap metal.
Hmm.
So scrap is nothing but waste steel. So it is already, converted into iron. So you can skip this iron making part
Hmm.
and directly put it into a furnace.
Hmm.
There's another way which is very popular in India among small companies, which is the DRI route or the sponge iron route. DRI is direct reduced iron,
Hmm.
in which you use iron ore lumps or pellets and use thermal coal instead of coking coal
Hmm.
to make sponge iron.
Hmm.
And that is used into electric arc furnace to make steel. So these are the three main ways in which you can make steel. So once iron is made in blast furnace, it goes through, basic oxygen furnace uh, to convert into steel, and then you have to cast it into various forms. So there's long product or flat product. Long product is normally, you're aware, the saria that you use for making construction of buildings, etc. And flat product is normally either plate or hot rolled coil. So it's hot rolled coil is nothing but a plate which is converted into a shape of a coil, and they can be further value added into various forms. So what is most important is iron ore and coking coal for the purpose of, making steel. And
So राकेश, जब मैं बोलता हूँ कि किसी कंपनी का EBITDA per ton ज्यादा आया,
hmm,
I think because that is one number which you watch very closely, right?
yeah.
So what is that edge some of these companies have? When we study cement, we say Shiri Cement is the best because उनका EBITDA per ton सबसे अच्छा आता है. तो स्टील में वो edge क्या है कि in the entire steel making process?
Okay. So the biggest edge one can have is, captive raw material.
Okay.
So iron ore, a lot of companies in India have captive iron ore. So, like Tata Steel for their Indian operations
Hmm.
is fully integrated with captive iron ore.
Hmm.
SAIL is another company which is fully,
Integrated.
integrated. Then JSW Steel has recently started acquiring iron ore mines. So, to some extent, now they are integrated.
Hmm.
And among the smaller companies,
JSPL.
Godavari, JSPL is partly integrated out of the requirement of almost 12, 13 million tons. They have 3, 4 million tons, which is captive right now.
Okay.
Plus, they have some inventory which is going to finish off in the next few months. So currently, they are enjoying the benefit of,
बट
and
टाटा स्टील और सेल का इवन इफ दे आर इंटीग्रेटेड उनका डिफरेंस बहुत है इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी एबिटा पर टन.
yeah. So we'll come to the other costs of production
Sure.
where things can vary. So iron ore is one more most important thing, and there's been a big legislation change of late. Government of India has now pushed everyone to go for auction of iron ore mines,
ओके.
and there has been a lot of competition in getting these iron ore mines.
ओके.
And under the auction, you have to bid a percentage of iron ore price itself that you are willing to pay over and above
ओके.
as royalty.
ओके.
So JSW has won a lot of iron ore mines, but they are paying between 90 to 100% of the iron ore price. So if the iron ore price today is around 4,000 rupees, they are paying 4,000 rupees per ton as extra royalty. So even though they have captive iron ore,
वाओ.
but their cost advantage is not going to be much.
दैट्स फॉर
And
व्हिच कंपनी?
this is for JSW, which
Okay.
has recently won a lot of mines. ArcelorMittal has won also one or two mines, and then JSPL won, but they have returned the mine back because it's not economically feasible for them.
Okay.
So Tata Steel, SAIL, Godavari, Power and Ispat, these are the three companies which have huge advantage as
Sorry,
compared
sorry,
to their.
sorry, sorry. Why do you say Godavari? I was busy in Tisco, Sale, JSPL, JSW Steel. Godavari is an interesting name.
Godavari has 2 million ton of captive iron ore mine per ton of per annual production, and their mine is going to last till another 40 years. So they have
Why?
this
Why
huge
this advantage?
So the rule which was implemented is
Okay.
that all mines which have been allocated for merchant mining
हाँ जी.
would expire in 2020. So all the merchant mining mines have expired and they have been put through auction. So almost 30% of India's iron ore production has gone through auction last year.
Okay.
The mines which are given for captive use
Okay.
are set to expire in 2030
Okay.
or when the mining lease expires,
Okay.
whichever is later.
Hmm.
So, Godavari I mentioned because they got this mining lease only in 2012-13, and
It's captive.
it's captive,
अच्छा.
and it's like 30-40 year lease, so it's going to last for another 30-40 years.
वाह 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 वाह. अच्छा राकेश, एक हम बोलते हैं फेरस नॉन फेरस. प्लीज हेल्प अस टू अंडरस्टैंड उसमें क्या फर्क होता है?
So basically, currently we are talking everything about ferrous. So
अच्छा.
ferrous is where there's iron ore involved.
अच्छा.
So either it could be pure iron ore mining like NMDC, or it could be steel making, which is Tata Steel, SAIL, JSPL, and all the other companies that we are talking about.
Okay.
So today we are focusing only on ferrous side.
Okay.
Non-ferrous is everything else, which is aluminium, copper, zinc.
Okay.
So that's a detailed, another subsector of metal industry,
Got it.
which one can study.
एंड मैं अगर मुझे ये लॉन्ग फ्लैट प्रोडक्ट में जाना हो तो विच इज द सेगमेंट जहाँ पे सबसे ज्यादा पैसा बनता है आपके हिसाब से?
Okay, so
Is there a differentiation in terms of products? Because you said on the cost side, you said iron ore, coal. These are the major things. Integrated ho to it's better, and of course, much more cost of production will be lower. In
Correct.
terms of end product, is there any differentiation?
Yeah, so there's a differentiation. So long product is largely used for construction. So it is driven by the domestic cycle. So if Indian government is spending too much on infrastructure, then long product companies are going to benefit. Or if housing demand is very high, then long product companies are going to benefit. Whereas flat product is largely driven by auto and consumer goods. So
Okay.
like fridge or AC, if you're making a body of that.
Hmm.
So a flat product is easy to transport also, because it just comes in form of a coil or plate which you can put one over another.
Hmm.
Long product is difficult to transport, so it's difficult to import also or export.
Sariya.
So flat product is much more amenable to global export and is likely to track global prices.
Okay.
And so flat product is supposed to be superior product because you need better quality when you're making a automobile like car or something. For long product, you don't really need that much high quality, and so there are a lot of small players who are involved into long product. But flat product only like 4 5 companies are making.
पैसा ज्यादा कहाँ बनता है फ्लैट में लॉन्ग में
So flat
कंपनीज
is supposed to be much more profitable
ओके
because it's a slightly higher value add. Not many people can make it, and if you have a contract with a car company, it takes like 2 years to get your product approved.
एंड हु आर द मेजर
So
प्लेयर्स इन फ्लैट एंड लॉन्ग ओके इफ आई टू डिफरेंशिएट
so basically, most of the large companies, Tata Steel is totally flat product.
ओके
They have bifurcated their long product into Tata Steel long products.
या
That's a separate company now.
या
JSW is predominantly a flat product, almost 100% is flat. Then SAIL has a mix of flat and this thing.
लॉन्ग
JSPL is also a mix, but largely a long product company. And the smaller companies are all mostly long product.
ओके और जिंदल कहाँ जाएगा जिंदल स्टेनलेस
Jindal Stainless is a totally different category. So
अच्छा
what we are talking about is a carbon steel. Stainless steel, there's only one producer, which is Jindal Stainless, and that has a totally different process of making, and it's a totally different market.
ओके
So it's
सो वी नीड मोर क्लासेस विद यू
yeah, so it's a sector in itself. Uh, so you can't really
so we
compare.
understood the large four companies in the mid steel companies you mentioned but Godavari but who are other players who are competitors of Godavari and they make either long or flat products
So there are one or two companies who have survived. Basically, there's Sharda Energy,
uh,
and then there's Prakash Industries.
okay
Uh, then minor one or two, maybe more. But
Sunflag
most of the small companies have gone bankrupt.
Sunflag भी होगा ना
Yeah, so meaning somebody like Sunflag, or there's Kirloskar Ferris, and so there's a long tail, but they may not be making steel that we are discussing here. They might
got
be
it
doing forging, or they might be making an intermediate product.
got it
Yeah.
ठीक है sir we'll move to the next slide if you think so
Yeah. So before we go there, you were asking me what is the difference between why SAIL is making less money as compared to Tata Steel.
thank you for
So the
remembering the
other
question
cost which is important is manpower cost. And
okay
since SAIL has huge manpower, being a government company, uh, so to give you an example, meaning if Tata Steel would have a manpower cost of $20 to $30, SAIL would have $80 to $100, and
seriously 4 times
JSW would have like $8 to $10. So
wow
that's a big difference. So when prices are low and margins are low, that makes a big difference. But currently we are talking about an up move, right? Currently it doesn't matter.
got it got it
Yeah.
got it बट यार ये 10 साल में ये लोग सीखे क्यों नहीं है हमारे पीएसयूज वाले कि दिस इज द मेजर प्रॉब्लम वी हैव बीन टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस मैन पावर कॉस्ट एज अ अगली
Mm.
pressure on everyone starting from MTNL days right
So meaning they have their various plans of VRS, but by the
yeah
time VRS happens, the salaries go up quite a bit, and you must have heard about all these pay commissions which came through.
yeah
So
exactly
salaries have increased much sharply than VRS could be, reducing the headcount. But now they have doubled their capacity, so hopefully sale cost will come down. Now coming to back to steel, this is how the steel capacities are across the globe.
wow
Uh,
we are number
China is
4
almost 1,000 million tons, so that's like 53%. global share. And as you can see, 90% is a blast oxygen furnace, which we were
Hmm.
discussing, is using iron ore and coking coal.
Hmm.
And these plants are all new. If you see, the average age is only 12 years. India is currently at the fourth place in terms of capacity. It's now in 2020, it's probably going beyond North America. Uh,
I think we
and
have
we
target
are,
of what 300 million ton. I think government has a target, right, by 2030.
yeah, so that target was initially 2020, then 2025, now 2030. Maybe by 2050 we would reach there. So
But you think it's tough?
yeah, so putting capacities in India is not easy, and India doesn't have enough resources also. If China would put capacity at $500 per ton, India takes 1,000 to $1,200. So one India becomes inefficient as compared to say a Chinese player from a capital cost perspective initially. Then when you come to iron ore, initially iron ore was available freely in India. It was at a cheap discount, but with all this auction policy, etc., cost of iron ore also gone up. So we are not really saving too much on iron ore. And coking coal, India hardly has anything. So it's all imported from Australia. So if our capital cost is higher than China, if our operating cost is also high because of raw material costs, it's difficult to compete against China. It's only protection from the government which is keeping Indian steel industry very profitable.
Can you elaborate on this? What do you
So
mean by
basically,
protection?
so we have import duties, we have safeguard duties which were imposed a few years back. So
Okay.
that is helping us, maintain a
Hmm.
little bit of extra margin to
Hmm.
compensate for our higher cost. But and currently Tata Steel, SAIL have all cheap iron ore, so they are okay.
और ये कितना टाइम तक चलेगा?
These duties.
This cheap raw material in terms of iron ore integrated plants I'm talking about. This
देखो
is sale
सेल
case.
तो I think it will continue for another 20 years plus.
अच्छा, तो सेल बच
Uh,
गया.
Sale बच गया. Tata Steel probably another 10 years from now, some of their mines might come for renewal.
So India is not competitive, but some of these companies they have integrated facilities, and hence the lifeline is there for at least 10-20 years until unless our government wakes up.
Or maybe if iron ore exploration becomes easier in India
Got it.
and iron ore auction prices come down,
Hmm.
then we will can compete much more with China. But currently, it's difficult. So as you see, if anything happens to China,
China,
that is
China,
going to
China.
disrupt the whole
Chi-
steel market.
So I also heard somewhere that ArcelorMittal capacity is actually equal to India's capacity, right?
Yeah. So ArcelorMittal is spread across European Union and CIS, and a little. I think they sold off their North American unit.
Okay.
Yeah. So ArcelorMittal would be one of the largest. The
Almost 100
largest
and
steel company in China, which recently touched 100 million ton production.
is
So it's known as Kobo. It was formed with a joint venture of Bao Steel and another company. And only in early January, they've touched 100 million ton production, which is
wow.
higher than Tata's India's whole production. So one
Wow.
company in China doing more than India.
So there is huge opportunity, right? Because अगर the cycle comes back in terms of infrastructure spending, as you say, where normally your long products are being used, which we haven't seen in the last 10 years, then there is huge demand, right? And because some of the integrated facilities are there with few companies, they may benefit, right, going ahead.
Yeah, so see, India's demand will continue to grow at 7-8%,
Okay,
around 1.2 times GDP,
you're talking about steel demand.
steel demand.
Okay.
But as I mentioned, that it's a global commodity. You can transport for $10, $15. You can transport it across the world.
Got it.
So it doesn't matter whether you have high demand in India or not. What matters is what is the demand in China, which is 50%.
True, very true, very true.
So see, if China's demand drops by 10%, that is, global growth of 10 years would go.
So ये जो अभी upsurge आया है राकेश, what could be the reason behind this upsurge in terms of you know?
Okay, so let's examine this. Basically, what I've done here is I put the JSW Steel, which is a pure converter because it doesn't have enough captive iron ore and coal. So the blue bars that you see is JSW's EBITDA per ton, EBITDA margin, and the red line is Chinese steel exports. So when China normally was exporting around 40-50 million tons in from 2009 to 2012, suddenly they increased their exports to 100 million ton plus. And look at the margins of JSW. China's exports have started to come down, and Indian government put in safeguard duty here. So that has helped JSW improve its margin. But at the same time, China's steel exports started to come down. So JSW was able to make a reasonable margin.
Got it.
So it is all linked to Chinese steel exports. Now,
Understood.
this is what is happening in 2020. Look at the last 5-6 months. China is a net positive import of 0.6 million here, 1 million here, 1.7 million, 0.7 million. Till November also it was importing. So what has happened is that, and if you look at the import, it's largely billet imports. Billets are the first form of steel without any value addition. So given that iron ore prices have been rising quite a bit because of disruptions in Brazil and to some extent in Australia, Chinese steel makers have been importing kind of iron ore in form of billets.
बट वो लोग तो इतना प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, जैसे आपने बोला 53% खुद प्रोडक्शन करते हैं.
Yeah,
What led to them importing?
No, so basically their production has not really dropped. It's just that they are substituting part of iron ore through billet imports because it was cheaper to import billet than import iron ore and coking coal and make your own steel.
अच्छा, तो a raw form of steel, as you said.
Yeah.
Impure form of steel.
Yeah. So see, if you look at the whole pandemic, China was able to come out as early as March itself.
बिल्कुल.
So their production capacity didn't go down. The demand went down, but the production capacity didn't go down. And whereas production capacity in Brazil, Australia, everywhere else was impacted.
Yes.
So some of the companies who were able to produce in India, like Jindal Steel and Power, did a fantastic job at that period of time. They were able to export all these billets to China.
Wow. So that is why the jump of what from 529 to as high as 3,000, 3,200.
Yeah. So these are like 3 million ton, 2.6 million ton, 2.5 million ton. And so this has been the major driver of steel price. So this is what has happened to the steel price since June, July.
True.
So this is last 10, 11 years data. We are now almost touching the peaks that we saw after the global financial crisis. So after the global financial crisis, we saw a similar infrastructure built in China to support the economy. And so you saw a run up for 2 years. Now we are seeing a similar form of infrastructure built up by China. So there's a probability that it started in 2020. It might probably last till some middle of 21 or end of 21. We're not sure about that, but it looks like another 3-4 months is given.
Very good. But right now, sorry, stupid question. अभी तो सब नाराज हैं चाइना से. and everyone is just getting rid of China in terms of not doing business with them. So will that at all impact this growth drivers coming from China?
Yeah, so what happens is that first of all, rest of the world doesn't matter much because China itself consumes what it is producing.
Hmm.
As we saw in the previous slide,
Hmm.
that China is actually importing.
Hmm.
It's not exporting steel. Hmm?
सही बोले.
Okay, so China is more driven by their own policies.
Got it.
So the question is, when will China take the foot off the paddle
Hmm.
from their infrastructure built? So when they think that their economy is growing at 6% plus,
Hmm.
they will reduce
Hmm.
the pressure on growing
Got
the
it.
economy,
Got it.
right? So now this is the steel spreads for how much money the Chinese steel companies are making. And so currently we are closer to around 50 or $60. It's come off a little bit because iron ore prices have gone up quite a much. So while as we saw that steel prices are almost at the peak level,
वो spreads are not.
margin has come off because of iron ore price. But in 2018, it went up to as high as 150, $160 margin.
But I thought cycle के peak में सबसे ज़्यादा margin बनेगा इनको, which was 2007-8.
No,
जब steel,
so actually raw material prices decide the spreads.
of course.
So across the value chain, who takes the profit is what one has to see.
JSPL took in that time.
Yeah,
2007-8 में I remember it was JSPL, right?
yeah, correct. So
हाँ,
currently, I would say because iron ore prices are so important,
Tata
uh,
Steel and same.
as we see here. So this is iron ore price. It's gone up to $175. In 2008-9, you see the iron ore prices were even higher, 230 $240.
अच्छा, इसलिए this and this period of this October 18-19 when you said the spreads were the highest actually in the industry, then
Correct.
the iron ore prices are down.
Yeah. So in 18, when there was a kind of a mini bull run,
हाँ जी.
spreads were highest
Yeah.
because commodity prices were benign. But now the disruption is on the commodity side, on the raw material side.
So कहने का मतलब है we have to look for companies which are integrated.
Exactly. So which are the companies who have the most iron ore? So
This is the biggest question, right?
yeah, so NMDC has 30 million ton. They are making iron ore. They think they can go to 50 million. So if they make 1,000 rupees per ton extra, uh, it's around 10% of the market cap. It's slightly dated, so maybe it has reduced a little bit, but it gives you a good comparison. Everything has gone up actually now. Tata Steel has 28 million ton annual production. SAIL has 22. Godavari has 1.8. So the biggest sensitivity is actually with SAIL and Godavari, then followed by NMDC and then Tata Steel.
Wow, this is very interesting.
So, meaning SAIL has the highest sensitivity, and that's why the stock has kind of doubled in 2 months, as people have understood that the benefit which this guy would get would be the most. Godavari, in the same time, has actually gone up 3x. So people are recognizing this. Also note that the
But not
NMDC.
not NMDC. Sorry.
So the other factor which works here is leverage. So NMDC is a net cash company.
अच्छा.
So यहाँ पे you don't know what will happen to the profit. It's not really adding to market cap.
Hmm.
Whereas these two companies were leveraged. So for them the impact is much higher.
Hmm. Got it. So sorry, just to recap this thing that आप बोले in terms of integrated facilities in India, uh, who will benefit if the iron ore moves up, which is happening right now, are companies like Tata Steel, SAIL, and Godavari, and no one else in the ferrous space.
Yeah. So meaning the other companies like JSPL, as we were discussing.
But not fully integrated.
Yeah, for the current year, they are integrated to large extent because they had a iron ore inventory of
Okay.
around 13, 14 million tons.
Okay.
But that will run out in the next few months.
Hmm.
So, will the iron ore prices come down by the time? I don't know. So they would benefit in the near term.
Hmm.
Uh, but from a longer term perspective, if you have to see which companies would benefit the most, as I said, that SAIL and Godavari, and to some extent Tata Steel,
Uh,
have captive resources which are
but
going to
but
last for multiple years.
but ये स्टॉक तो ऑलरेडी राकेश 2 गुना 3 गुना हो गए हैं. So is this integrated benefit already in the stock prices? You can take any example.
Yeah, so basically, let's go through one or two slides, and I'll come back to your question.
पक्का.
So here you can see that the biggest driver is actually commodity price. So this is Tata Steel's stock price, which is the red line, and this is the hot rolled coil price, which is the blue line. More or less, it moves in tandem,
Hmm.
right?
True.
So till the time this blue line is going up, stock prices would continue to grow up. Only in the last 5-10% of the move,
Hmm.
if the market is not convinced that this is going to last, that
Hmm.
stock price will stop moving.
Got it.
At the moment, we haven't reached to that stage. Now, coming to price to book for the Nifty Metal Index.
Hmm. Very
So,
important.
as you were mentioning, actually, 2008 they went up to around 6 times. price to
I
book,
know.
right? Post the global financial crisis, they even went up to 3 times. Is the cycle strong enough to make it go beyond 2 times? We have to see.
तो आपने तो डरा दिया मुझे यार सच्ची में. आप तो बोलते 2 टाइम पे रुक जाओ. मगर ये तो अब पास तो बता रहा है कि 3 times इज देयर. मगर हो सकता है 3 times आराम से. लेट्स नॉट गेट इनटू 6 times, राइट?
So it all depends on the Chinese policies. How much will they allow things to go beyond? The biggest worry I have is inflation.
Okay.
And you must have noticed today market got spooked off because US yields have crossed 1% now.
Hmm.
So debt market is already taking cognizance of inflation coming in. And because of all this loose inventory, financial monetary policy which every country has been following,
Hmm.
there's a chance that inflation comes with a vengeance. And that is what some of the broking houses are also pushing.
Hmm.
And looking at the current commodity prices, like iron ore at $175, and China might take the foot off the pedal. So we have to evaluate. It's a continuous evaluation that we have to do. So currently it looks like we are going to 2 times, which is we are currently 1.5, 1.6.
तो आपके हिसाब से 20-30% रैली बाकी है अभी भी
Safely.
सेफली.
Beyond that, it will depend.
Got it.
So it's difficult to say. So now coming to your question about which companies. So let's take the example of SAIL. SAIL has a market cap of around, I think, 30,000, and it is going to end the year at a debt of around 40,000 crore. Currently, they are saying
अभी तो डेट मार्केट कैप 35,000 के आसपास है ना.
अभी 35 हो गया क्या?
हाँ, डबल हो गया ना. 18 2 36.
Okay, so 35,000 crore market cap, and assume 40,000 crore debt by end of March.
Got it. 75.
75. Their capacity is closer to 20 million ton, but let's assume they'll make 16 million ton.
Hmm.
Steel prices have gone up by 10,000 rupees per ton in last 2 months. Since the previous quarter. Normally they make 4,000 to 5,000 rupees per ton. We can assume they'll make around 12,000.
सही है, आराम से.
ठीक है. So normally these stocks should trade between 5 to 6 times EV EBITDA. So if you assume 5 times, that's like 60,000. So 12,000 crore, 12,000 rupees per ton if they can make. And let's assume they'll make it on, say, only 15 million ton. Not 20 million ton what their capacity is.
Of course.
So they'll make around 18,000 crore on EBITDA from the steel. Plus they are selling iron ore now in the market.
But you are assuming that it's a 1 year, money making. The cycle will be there with SAIL for 1 year to give them 18,000 crores, right? EBITDA.
On average.
अच्छा, 15 से 18,000 crore is a right way of looking at it.
So 18,000 crore का EBITDA they can do from steel.
18
Plus they can do like 2,000 tons, 2,000 to 3,000 crore on iron ore sales that they're doing.
So
They
1
are
lakh.
allowed to sell 25% of their iron ore production.
Got it. Got it.
And so they can easily do 20,000 crore EBITDA. And if you give them 5 times, that's like 1 lakh crore. And if you reduce the debt, which is 40,000,
Which I heard they would go down to 35,000 crores actually.
yeah. So if the earnings go up, it can go up further.
Uh,
So you are left with 60,000 crore market cap as compared to current market of 35,000. So I'm saying on
So-
Excel sheet, you can say there's more upside.
okay.
Now let me give you an example of Godavari.
Please.
Godavari currently has a market cap of around 1800 crore.
Okay. The latest one?
Latest one.
अच्छा 1800.
1800-1900 होगा.
Okay.
They will be debt free in a year's time.
Okay.
And currently the pellet price is 12,000 rupees per ton.
Okay.
Okay. At 12,000 rupees, they will make 1400 crore EBITDA. At 8,500 rupees per ton, they will make 1000 crore.
नहीं तो sorry. You said 1800 crore is the 18 to 1900 crores whatever is the market cap
Market
and debt free next year. मतलब कि अभी EV इतना ही है.
FY22 के अंदर डेट फ्री हो जाएगी.
तो EV इतना ही है और
EV और मार्केट कैप इतना ही हो जाएगा.
and the EBITDA between 1000 to 1200.
1000 to 1200 depending on the pellet price.
So even if I take 1000 and give it even 6 times.
6 टाइम तो फिर तो बहुत हो जाएगा. 6000 3x हो जाएगा स्टॉक यहाँ से.
So how much as per you?
हाँ, so what I'm saying is
No, but the standard parameter for EV EBITDA for say a
5
mid
to
cap.
6 times. 5 to 6 times.
So
For a
5
debt free company, 5 to 6 times तो easy है ना.
So that means 5,000 crores market cap, right?
Yeah.
Which is 1800 crores right now.
Correct.
So which means 2.5 times
2.5 times.
possible.
Possible है. So
But
how much wrong can we go?
हाँ वही मेरे मुंह में वही चीज थी कि now it all depends on the cycle, you know, how much long it continues.
Yeah. So
तो
let's
बाकी आज के भाव पे तो ये बहुत सस्ते लगते हैं, you know, जो कैलकुलेशन आपने किया.
हाँ, तभी मैंने कहा कि अभी 20-30% तो अपने को दिख ही रहा है.
हाँ.
But ऐसा है कि the big thing which is happening is this upcycle is shifting debt to equity for some of the companies in a big way. So SAIL, Godavari fall into that bracket. So their EV is not going to change much.
Okay.
Suppose Godavari used to do an EBITDA of around 700 crore
Okay.
prior to this cycle.
Okay.
Okay. And last year they had debt of around, I think, some 1800 crores.
Okay.
So the 1800 crore is getting converted into market cap.
Equity.
Even if the EBITDA comes down to 700 crore. So suppose EBITDA comes back to 700 crore where they were before the cycle. And if you give 5 times, that is like 3,500 crore. But if they have paid their debt by the time, still the stock is going to be double from here on, from 1900 crore. Even if you assume 700 crore EBITDA and 5 time multiple. So people have to do bottom up research and see, you know, which of the companies based on their normalized earnings at 5 times EV EBITDA would make sense. If they don't have to look at price to book, then this is the second parameter they can look at. Normalized earnings into 5 to 6 times EV EBITDA.
Got it.
So SAIL
got it.
was making say 5,000 rupees per ton prior to the rally.
Now we are thinking about 12,000.
Up on 12,000, but sustainably maybe they will do 7,000-8,000 rupees because iron ore prices have gone up systematically in India because of the auction prices being so high.
So 15 million ton पे भी 7,000 पकड़ो कर मैं.
हाँ तो 7,000 8,000 पकड़ लो तो 8,000 into 15 million तो 8 और 8 पे 40 12-13 हजार
9,000 करोड़.
ठीक है. नहीं 9,000 नहीं 12,000 करोड़ हो गया. 12,000 into 5 60,000. 60,000 में से अगर एक साल में उनका डेट अगर कम होके 30 के नीचे आ जाता है तो नाउ इट इज फेयरली प्राइस्ड बेस्ड ऑन दैट पैरामीटर. तो अब ये देखना है कि हाउ लॉन्ग दिस साइकिल लास्ट एंड हाउ मच डेट दे कैन रिड्यूस which will give the actual upside.
But is there any parameter you watch closely to track ki हाँ भी how much more legs the cycle has?
So I think everybody has to track, Chinese exports, as I mentioned upfront.
Okay.
That is the biggest metric. See, Chinese companies are not going to stop production. If the domestic demand goes down, they'll start exporting more. And since they are very profitable, they will push the material and they'll push the steel prices downwards.
Hmm.
So I think if one parameter anybody has to track, that should be Chinese exports.
Which is your favorite company with your experience in the steel space who knows how to, how to survive in all the cycles? Like honestly, companies which you're talking about, ये सब survivors ही हैं क्योंकि बाकी सारे
No,
चले गए.
see, Tata Steel has been surviving for 100 years now.
Yeah. Tata Steel है.
ठीक है. SAIL in any case had to survive. It's a government company with all the resources. The
ऐसा
company
मत
which
बोलिए
has
ना सर
really
यार,
survived.
MTNL चला. हाँ, इस
मतलब अभी
JSPL
भी
ऐसे.
चल तो रही है ना.
हाँ, वो
यहाँ पे
ठीक है, चल
advantage
रही
है
है.
because see MTNL and BSNL have no
I think
advantage.
land is huge सेल के पास, land और iron ore of course, but expansion के लिए उसको land भी चाहिए.
नहीं, but see the business competitive advantage SAIL has is iron ore.
Yeah.
BSNL, MTNL have to
No.
bid for spectrum.
Yes.
If spectrum was given free to them,
अच्छा.
they can also compete very well.
Yeah, I agree. No, so sorry, coming to you only. हम इस बात में हो जाएंगे. आपके हिसाब से which is the best company?
So among the large players, I think JSW Steel has survived the best. I think they went through a ban on iron ore mining in Karnataka. I think we had no clue how they will survive, but they survived. They came out stronger. Among the smaller companies, I think Godavari has done phenomenally well. I think none of the other small companies have been able to survive, who have actually diversified into power, etc. Meaning there are 10,000 names I can think of which didn't survive. But
Yes.
so among large companies, I think JSW Steel has done incredibly well to survive through the cycles without resources, without anything. See, JSPL also survived, but they had a lot of resources. They mismanaged. Uh, so these are the two companies I think which have been stand out.
Rakesh, will you be surprised
By
if
the
we
way,
see this 5 times, 6 times, 7 times huge bull run in commodities over the next? Because now people are talking about that the commodity index is broken out after 12 years, right? So all those metrics, technical people keep on sending कि boss किस तरीके से commodity index is coming out, and you could see the next decade could belong to commodities. What is your thought process? Okay, आप तो 6 महीने.
You have to answer just one question to me. Would you keep buying a car if it becomes expensive after a certain point in time?
Of course not.
That's the same. So car manufacturer can't buy steel. So currently what is happening is there's shortage of steel.
सही बोले आप.
And people are overbooking. I'm saying people are overbooking. So car manufacturers are overbooking steel right now. They will cancel the orders when the demand slows down. So, I still remember 2008 when there was bull run and everybody was talking about steel going to $1,500. It did go there for a day, I think, but it's not going to last there. It's not affordable.
अभी कितना है?
It's touching $1,000 in US, and in India it's gone up to I think 50,000, which is how much? 50,000 is almost $700, right?
Around.
Yeah. So in China it is $701 as we speak today. India is almost same level. US is almost
उस टाइम पे $1,500 पहुंचा था उस टाइम पे 2008 में.
Yeah. तो उस समय so same technical chartists and also we can't believe them. And as you can see, if it goes up, it comes down also quite a bit. And
Very big.
So it's already gone. So it's already up here. Maybe it can go here to 800, but it can't survive there for too long. At the
So,
peak, you can survive only for like few months,
so you're
three,
not in
four
the
months.
camp that we could see it going beyond $1,000,
Absolutely, yeah, it can see it can go for a few days.
few days or months.
Yeah, but it won't sustain there.
Got it, got it. So point is that be cautious or at least reassess your investment portfolios or theories or hypotheses or anything when the steel prices move around, say 800, 750, 800, right? Over 800.
Yeah, so we have to see how long they last. Meaning, see, if you are at a reasonable level, you can last for longer. So if you are between 600 to 700, you almost lasted 1 year.
Hmm.
Hmm?
The best
If you
period
were
for this
700
price.
to 800, you lasted only for 3 months, 6 months.
Hmm.
If you were 1500, it would last only for 2, 3 weeks.
Got it, got it, got it, got it, got
Yeah.
it, got it. No, this is very, very nice, Rakesh. So anything else you want to add? One question which I have added is that you have answered, of course, the risk to entire hypothesis is China and inflation, right?
Hmm.
These are the two major risks.
Yeah, so say it's all about China. Rest of the world, as I told you, doesn't matter
Got it,
because rest of the world is not big enough
got it, got
to
it, got it.
impact. Meaning, even if Europe was to drop dead tomorrow
Hmm.
and decline by 20%,
कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा.
it, it will be like,
30, 30,
150,
30, 40 million ton.
20, नहीं नहीं ये तो capacity है, production would be running at 60%.
Oh.
Okay, 15-18 million ton.
Uh,
For that movement, China is only 2% move.
got it, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it.
So if India's demand is 7% or 20%, it's not going to move the needle globally.
Got it.
So rest of the world, it doesn't matter that much.
So we should
What
stop
happens
thinking.
here is what we need
Yeah,
to
got
know.
it. So we should stop thinking about this 300 million ton target.
How many? It has no meaning.
So play the
It's not
cycles.
important.
Play the cycles. Play them well, and just be cautious. Don't get carried away.
Exactly.
But some of the companies which you mentioned, I think Godavari is very interesting. Godavari is very, very interesting.
So we should put a disclaimer.
Please.
We are advising Godavari for
Oh.
investor relations, so please take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah. So this is a
But
big
what we can
disclaimer.
say is only facts here.
So
But what
here's
we
a
can say here is
disclaimer.
only facts.
Yeah, here's a disclaimer, and that
Yeah.
is a very big one disclaimer that Go India Advisor is advising Godavari. So pinch of salt, a bucket of salt, or whatever you want to take, please take. But Rakesh, I have to come back to you for next session. I think on non-ferrous and stainless steel.
Sure.
Because a lot of people are very excited about Jindal Stainless.
Yeah.
So we will come back to you and learn more from you. On stainless steel, and if we can club, and if you want that we should club some interesting companies or anything else interesting in the non-ferrous space,
Sure.
or if you think ki cement is much more popular and there is more money to be made in cement.
So I think Jindal Stainless is more of a corporate restructuring story rather than the stainless story,
Okay.
and it is too much of a sector to cover only for one company.
Okay. So maybe
Yeah,
we'll
so
discuss it with
one
cement.
yeah, cement would be much better, I would say, because there are like 15-20 companies to play.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you, Rakesh. From bottom of my heart, I think I learned a lot, and I hope and wish and pray that the basics helped a lot of people to understand the basics. So we will be back soon with something more interesting and a really educative session. Thank you so very much, Rakesh.
Thank you, and thank you. Bye.
Thank you so very much.